I just cracked up when I heard that.
Thank you.
Let's see, my mic is all squirrely here. All right, well, so tell me about this latest album.
This was not supposed to be an album. This was just some tunes that I had written kind of in memory of my dad, because I know the kinds of things that he liked. And so I was just kind of making like a little love letter to my father, basically what it was. And so I recorded these at the house, like it's my own kind of little thing. And then Kid Anderson came to my house, and he heard these tunes, and he said, you know, you should come by the studio and record sometime. And I said, well, I'd love to do that, you know. And so then I think Jimmy Pugh came by there one day, and he heard this stuff too, and he said, what is that? And so he had a label, and so the next thing you know, it was a record. It wasn't supposed to be a record. It was just like for my own personal little whatever. But so then Jimmy and Kid, they made it possible for it to be a record. And so the next thing you know, it was Larry Taylor on bass, and Tony Bronigal on the drums, and myself. And, you know, it was 2 days of recording, and Kid would bring these beautiful guitars and say, why don't you play this on this tune? So that's how I ended up playing like a Telecaster and things on there, things that I don't normally play. And I got to play piano, which I don't normally do on record, or saxophone. So I got to do that. And so it was like Make-A-Wish for me. It was like I got to play all these great guitars and, you know, play something that was kind of really dear to my heart. And those guys played beautifully. I mean, I looked up from the piano, and I was sitting there with Larry Taylor, you know, and just, it was beautiful. Mm-hmm. I really feel blessed that I got to make this into a record, you know, and that people like it, you know, because it was such a kind of a close personal thing that I didn't think it would be a record, but there's a lot of love in that for sure, you know.
From the heart. That's why it's such a great album, because
Thank you.
You got to just be unplugged and remember your dad and write that for him. So, yeah, I see you brought a guitar in. We didn't have, I should have queued you up on it, but
oh, that's okay.
If you're willing to pick a little bit, you brought your acoustic in, and I'm sure our listeners would love to hear whatever you have to share with us, Chris.
Geez, you know, I mean, this is just nice to even play the record. Thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely.
And having me on it.
And hey, before we hear Chris play live, I'm looking at the sleeve for this album, and when you flip it open, there's a photo. What kind of, is that Chevy in there? Old Chevy?
Yeah,
or?
you know, that is the cover of Clifford Coulter's album called East Side San Jose.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's a Story Road there, and it's like the cover of that record. I thought it was hilarious that they found that, you know, because I lived right around the corner from there, you know.
Yeah, and there's mention of all the places, you know, the things that mostly moved on,
yeah.
Saddle Rack and all kinds of things.
Yeah,
Starlight Ballroom.
Yeah, they talk about a bunch of stuff there.
Yeah, that's super cool. So if you like what you hear, we'll play another tune from the album probably in a while, but we're going to be lucky enough to hear Chris live, but definitely check out his latest work. It's by Little Village Foundation is the studio, and 2017 release. All right, Chris, do you want to maybe pull the mic down a little bit? Actually, it sounds pretty good.
All the time we've been together, your love was like a drug. You're so mean and downright evil. Then I've got to pull the plug. I'm going through a love detox, baby. Trying to get you off my mind. And when I get myself straight, gonna leave this mess behind. They say this booze will kill you, put a fog around your head. But since you got me hooked, you make me wish that I was dead. I'm going through a love detox, baby, trying to get you off my mind. And when I get myself straight, gonna leave this mess behind. Come here, guitar. I know the blues will kill you, put a fog around your head. But since you got me hooked, you make me wish that I was dead. I'm going through a love detox, baby, trying to get you off my mind. And when I get myself straight, gonna leave this mess behind.
Yeah, all right. Wow, we're gonna have to do an unplugged album, I think. I always hear you electric, but that is something else.
Thank you.
Wow, and that song is it's got that old blues thing, but we got a love detox going. That's some modern stuff there. That's cool. Is that a new song you're working on?
No, that's from one of my records.
Oh, well, now I'm gonna have to find that one
Thank you.
because
Thank you.
that was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Tell me now. So your early influence was your dad and the hi-fi and going out to all that fabulous live music, and I'm sure growing up here in San Jose back in the day, that even as a young man, a young adult, there was all kinds of live music.
There was. It was great. I mean, there was a place called Alfie's where they would have a lot of stuff. Elvin Bishop would play at some of these places, and it was great. I mean, I just was too young to get into a lot of stuff. But we'd always go to the bodega, which was over there in Campbell, and you know, like Albert King or somebody would be playing, and I would stand right outside the door, and I could hear everything that was happening, you know. And then a lot of times these characters that I knew that were inside would open the door and pull me in.
Oh, nice.
You know, so I'd get to go in there and see. You know, I would never sneak in. You know what I mean? These guys could get in here. You know what I'm saying? And I had some great times, like at bodega, watching Albert King, Freddie King, and those were the two that I saw. At least twice I saw both of them. And one time Albert King was there for 3 nights, and I sat in front of his amp screaming my brains out till I lost my voice for like a month. my parents were thrilled, you know, because it was like I couldn't talk. They were thrilled.
There's that sense of humor. So how big was, I never went to the bodega, how big was it?
It was big. It was like a big, it was a prune pressing place or something, but it was a big inside building. And they had tables, and then they had a place around the stage where people would, you know, congregate and watch the thing. But it was great. And it had a smell in there. I don't know if it was maybe from the prunes or whatever you said, but it had a distinctive smell in that place. And it all went with the whole deal, you know. It was great.
So that was near the old prune yard?
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandfather raised prunes here in the valley.
See,
and
you know, I mean,
that was before Silicon Valley. It was a valley of
Yeah.
Heart's Delight with
Yeah.
all that beautiful, most amazing land, and
Yeah.
sadly, most of it's covered with cement. We might have to dig some of it up and plant a garden.
That's a shame.
But that's what it is.
That's a fact, though.
Yeah, such an amazing, rich place, and remains so vibrant.
Yeah, I never thought I would be a historian of the area or anything, but, there's a lot of things here that I remember, and that some are still here, and it just makes it great,
Well, you got to share those stories so they live on, because they live in our memories. We got to pass them on.
Yeah, I feel that really that's the gift that I got from playing. It's just all the people that I've gotten to meet and play with, fellas here in the community, and then people that I love too. It's just been it's all been really wonderful.
Tell me some of those folks that were early influences that you directly played with.
Well, there's a guy, Sam Varela, who's like a great friend of mine, and he's the first guy that I saw play blues guitar, like with an amplifier. I was playing his butt off. And, because he played at my birthday party when I got a Monkees album and a Twister game. You know what I mean? So I went home and told my parents, "You're not going to believe who I saw playing blues at school today." I mean, it was like it was a mind blower. And,
Now, how old were you then, Chris?
I was a freshman in high school.
And Sammy's there playing the blues.
Yeah, he was playing, and he was playing incredible, man. I mean, he was playing, and it was jaw-dropping. And I was so blown out by that, man, because he just, he had a tone. He was playing all this stuff. It was amazing. So that was a real turn on. And then, I saw Mike Bloomfield on television, and my mother worked at San Jose State, so she was kind of tuned into what was going on, and she was the one who told me I should see Michael Bloomfield and I should get his albums. And so that all was happening at the same time, and that really inspired me to just lock myself in a room and ruin all my records, basically. but I really enjoyed that. I mean, to this day, I like to do that,
Well, and you're so prolific because you have that capacity to just immerse yourself in your art.
But in doing that, and I love to do it. I wouldn't change a minute of it, but I don't know how to, when everybody's learning how to drive and they were going out and dating and whatever they're doing, I was in a room with an album book. So I don't really know how to do much else except musical things.
You're a humble man, Chris.
Thank you.
So let's see, now you play, of course, principally guitar, but I see you play that piano up there when we visited you a few times. And where did you learn? Are you all self-taught, or did you go to music school?
I did go to music school because I saw, one time I went to a gig and I saw Robin Ford playing. There's all these different guitar players who were playing, jazz people, blues people. T-Bone Walker was there, Shuggy Otis. It was called the Guitar Explosion, but everybody had to play with the same jazz trio. And the blues guys didn't seem like they could communicate really as well with the trio as the jazz guys could just tell them, here's the song we're going to play. The blues guys could barely play like maybe a shuffle and a slow blues, and they couldn't really communicate, it seemed like. And then I saw Robin Ford come out, and he walked out and he whispered to everybody, and then they played da-da-ba-ba-da-ding-ding, like this whole arrangement. I thought, I don't know what he just said in like a minute or two that like made it instant arrangement, but I felt like I need to learn this music talk, you know what I mean? Whatever he said, I had my own terminologies for things, and it was just, so that's what made me go to college and figure out what I was doing and what it was called and everything, basically,
Where did you attend for music school?
I went to San Jose City College, and there was instructors there that were amazing musicians, and they took me under their wing, kind of. They saw something in me that, and they were like classical guys and stuff. They weren't like like blues, they had a jazz program that was great. But my one teacher was a clarinet instructor, but he's like, he was the director of the San Jose Symphonic Group, and his name was Daryl Johnston, and he was like just a beautiful guy, and I mean, he was just a beautiful person, and really inspired me to want to learn this stuff, you know. So it was like Dave Eshelman was another instructor, great jazz trombonist, great composer, and they took extra time out of their days and things to, you know, help me through things that I wasn't really understanding, and so it was like I was there like maybe 8 hours every day. I would start at 8 o'clock in the morning and stay till 8 o'clock at night. I had clarinet and, you know, just all through the day, and I loved it. I mean, you know, I would still be going if they didn't close it down, you know.
Mm.
But it was great. I mean, because you had all these practice rooms and all these people practicing, so it was just like, you know, just a cacophony of all this stuff going on all the time.
How exciting, though.
I loved it. I mean, I loved that, and more than just about anything in my life. That was beautiful. And I love those teachers. I mean, when I see those gentlemen now, it's always emotional for me. It's like my clarinet instructor. He saw me at a winery playing with Danny Hull and I can't remember the other young man, but and he came up. We were like doing the sound check, and he goes, "Christopher, what are you doing, and who are these people?" I said, "Well, this is the band I play with." You know, so he goes, "Are you still playing God's instrument, the clarinet?" You know, and I said, "Yes, Mr. Johnson, I'm still playing my clarinet." He's like, "Yes." You know, he walked off, but I mean, he's like, those guys are beautiful. I mean, I love those characters. You know, those guys, those gentlemen, really shaped a lot of my work ethic, kind of how I go about learning stuff, because they were so beautiful the way they, you know, they could have went home and they'd stay after in their office and, you know, go through these things with me. And
They sound like real mentors.
they were beautiful. I mean, you know, I love them with all my heart, really do.
Mm. So before we close up, it's KKUP Cupertino. It's almost the hour of 4 o'clock, and I've certainly been enjoying sitting here with Chris Cain and hearing some of his stories about his influences and life here in the Valley at a little bit different time. And we'll hear another tune from his latest album. And I asked her, since it is International Women's Day today,
Yes.
I see you have a lady here behind you who I understand is helping you with some of your bookings and things, and she was nice enough to bring you in. And
Yes.
I asked her what other song to play, and she told me Kidney Stew off this latest album. Tell me a little bit about that.
This
Which,
is
of course, is a classic, but...
Yeah, it's a tune by Eddie Cleanhead Vincent, and one time with my band, we got to back him up at Miramar Beach in Half Moon Bay, and he was just the sweetest person. And you know, and I always loved to play the alto saxophone. I got a lot of things from him because I loved his playing, and so when we made this record, we didn't quite have enough tunes of the original tunes. Everything I wrote was on there, but there still needed a couple tunes. So we did Kidney Stew, and we did the Albert King tune, You Didn't Need Me, and a friend of mine was going to play trumpet. Mo Briseno was going to play trumpet on Kidney Stew, but he had church that day, and he wasn't going to get out until like 5 o'clock in the afternoon or something. So I just ended up playing the 3 parts on the saxophone thing. But it was just fun because I got to play the saxophone on a record. I have never done that before, so it was just
So
exciting.
you just play just about everything. Guitar, great piano. I really enjoy your piano playing. We can hear some horn playing. And I love your singing, Chris. I think most people have heard you come out and play, and your albums. There's such a soulfulness,
Thank you.
and it's from the heart. And I'm sure everybody listening can feel that you're a special soul. Thank you so much for
My pleasure.
taking your time to come in and speak with us. And Let's hear some, how about some kidney stew?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks. I could